So we are here, settling in with the breath. Finding a comfortable position. If you need to take a minute to get some wiggles out, by all means. Roll the shoulders up, down, and back. Let the face soften and relax. Just begin to notice how you are arriving on your mat today. Are you feeling a little scattered? I laugh because that's where my mind is at. Are you feeling grounded or maybe tired a little bit? Just honoring how you're feeling and knowing that through our practice we can shift our energy. And that's really the goal. We're shifting our state of mind. We're bringing in a little bit of joy and bringing our spirits up. And our meditation will send us out into the day feeling refreshed and ready to go. So if you would like to set an intention for your practice, I invite you to do that now, whether it's bringing something in, bringing in the joy, uplifting your spirits, or whether it is letting go of something. And both are very valid, especially when you're trying to raise your energy. Sometimes we need to release first. Let's seal our intention together with a nice deep inhale through the nose, belly fills. And exhale out the mouth, release it. The eyes blink open if they're closed. And let's begin with a little chest opening. So I'm going to take the bind behind my back, interlacing hands. I'll spin so you can see if you need to. I'm still my supported heroes, or simple seat works. And I'll just roll the shoulders onto the back. If the bind is not accessible, grab for opposite elbows or forearms and then act as if you're pulling your elbows away from each other to open through the chest. Either one is just as good as the other. It doesn't really matter. They're just slightly different. And if you have the bind, really roll the shoulders open. Let your navel pull in, lift your chest. Maybe your hands move a little farther down or away from you. Take a couple breaths. Give yourself a smile. We're bringing in all that good energy today. Chest opening, we've got a few of these today because this is one of the best ways to sort of bring the energy up. But we'll have hopefully a nice balanced practice for you today. One more breath in. Exhale, release the arms, place the hands on the knees, and let's round through the spine. In fact, let's interlace hands. We'll add on, we may have done this last week. Bring them in front of you so palms are facing you. And we're still rounding through the spine, but I want you to act as if you're pulling your fingers apart. Kind of like, do you remember those, we call them like Chinese handcuffs for the finger cuffs? And you're just spreading through the shoulder blades, really rounding the upper back. Don't pull too hard that you're going to injure yourself, but just enough to feel a nice stretch. And then gently release. Come back to center. Still on our supported heroes. We'll take a little crescent right and left. So inhale, the arms float up. Exhale, right fingertips to the mat. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, crescent over to your right, pressing into your left sits bone. So you might notice it rises up. Can you press down? You can even press down into that bottom hand. Bring your gaze down to start, and then open up. You might feel a stretch like I do all the way into my upper, almost glute, through the waist, deep stretch here. So good. And then release both arms, pause between sides. Notice how you're feeling. Inhale, both arms float up. Exhale, left fingertips to the ground. Inhale, lengthen through the right side body. And exhale, crescent over to the right, left, grounding down through the right sits bone. Draw the gaze down. And then perhaps bringing it up towards the sky, rolling your right shoulder blade onto your back. And inhale, release, come on up, pause, notice how you're feeling. Take a few shoulder rolls in one direction and the other direction. So good. Big breath in. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. And let's come up onto hands and knees. You can move your props out of the way. We're going to come into our tabletop. I'm just checking comments. Ah, good morning, Danielle. All right, from our tabletop, let's just slowly move into cat-cow. So letting the belly just slightly hammock it down, lifting the chest, bringing your palms towards your knees as if you're opening through the collarbones. And as you exhale, round the spine, really press the mat away. And once again, think about rounding through the back of the heart. Inhale, lower the belly, open through the chest, bring your heart forward, and exhale, round. Take one more round with your breath. It's so good. Let's begin to activate our feet. So tucking the toes, send your hips towards your heels, press your feet into the mat, heels come back. And if you want, you can walk yourself up. You can even sit back onto the heels if that's comfortable for you. You can always place something under your bum or even come up, lift the knees if that feels better. I like a good support of my hands to the ground. If this is too much, you can kind of come in and out of it. We'll be here for another 30 seconds perhaps. It's going to be kind of intense, I know. And let's take that interlace behind if you're up, only if you're up, and switch the grip. Open through the chest. Navel pulling in, really opening through the collarbones. One more breath, so good. I know it's a lot on the feet, especially if it's early morning for you. Let's release the hands, come on down to hands and knees. Oh, untuck the toes, that feels so good. Give them a kick, let it go. Let's make our way to down dog, shall we? Puppy pose is your alternate. If you're coming to down dog with me, hands slightly forward to the shoulders. Press into the fingertips, spin the eyes of your elbows forward first. Tuck the toes, send the hips nice and high. Starting with a bent knee, down dog. So lengthening the spine, sits bones going towards the ceiling, really pressing into the index fingers and thumbs. And then if you want to begin to straighten and lift the heels, slowly lower the heels. That might feel kind of nice. If you want to take a deep bend in one knee, and just hold for a breath. And then switching that out. Let's come back to center. Come up onto the balls of the feet once again. Exhale, lower the heels. Bend the knees again. And straighten and bend and straighten. And let's gaze forward, bend both knees. Make your way to the top of the mat. Let's take a nice easy forward fold. So we're going to bring the energy up in just a minute. We're kind of taking our time this morning. Just feels like one of those days. I love to wrap my hands around the back of my ankles for a forward fold with a nice deep knee bend. If there's a different version you'd rather take, or you kind of need to straighten and bend a few times, go for it. Relax the head, shake it out. No, shake it yes. Just feel the weight of your head. Still lengthening through the back of the legs. One more breath. Exhale out the mouth and release. So good. Inhale, come up halfway, fingertips to shins. Lengthen the crown of your head forward and stay. 2 breaths here. Just lengthening through the heart. You can even bring hands to waist if you want to make this a little more challenging, or just keep your fingertips on your shins. Little bend in the knees now. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then lower down, Utkatasana. Hands come to heart center. Chair pose. Feel the weight even between the balls and the heels of your feet. Lengthening your lower spine down, navel pulling in, chest opening. One more breath. And pressing into the feet, release the arms down. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, baby back bend. And exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, come up halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Let's step back to down dog. You're going to do a nice slow version of sun salute. Sort of a modified sun salute. Inhale, let's come forward to high plank. We've got 3 breaths in our plank. So good, so strong. Let's lower knees, chest, chin, coming to this little caterpillar shape, and then lower to the belly, untuck the toes. Inhale up to cobra. Maybe it's just a baby cobra. Maybe it's a little higher, just opening through the chest, staying for a breath. And exhale, release back down to the mat. We're going to get a little strong. We're going to come up to plank on our knees. So hands are firmly under the shoulders, navel pulls in, elbows come straight back, and then press into the arms. And then let's come through tabletop, send your hips towards your heels for a modified child's. Come on up with the next breath in. Tuck the toes, send your hips high, down dog. Pedal it out. Notice how you're feeling. We're going to go a little quicker on this next version of our sun salutation. Let's bend through the knees, gaze forward as you inhale. Exhale, you can step, walk, or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthens your heart forward. Exhale, fold. Ground down and rise up, high mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sink through the hips, chair pose. Staying strong, you can keep hands at heart center or extend arms up. Finding that little bit of cow action in the back, but the tailbone's drawing down. One more breath. Good. Inhale, press into the feet, baby back bend. And exhale, take it all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Let's come back to a downward facing dog. And I promise if this is too fast for you, we will do some more holds and standing poses. Just, if it's too slow and you want to throw in extra vinyasas or move a little more, go for it. One more breath in your dog. Inhale, roll forward to high plank. 3 breaths. Really strong in your core here. Pressing your hands down, shoulder blades are broad. So they're like pulling away from each other a little bit. Maybe your gaze comes slightly forward of the mat. One more breath. Exhale, we're going to lower down. You can do knees, chest, and chin, or let the elbows come straight back all the way to your belly. Inhale, press up to cobra. Maybe it's a little higher this time. Open through the chest, lift your heart. Exhale, lower down. And we're going to set up for that push-up again. So you can do push-up to your knees, or you can tuck the toes and get really strong. If you're going to tuck the toes, you're going to lift the knees. Navel pulls in towards spine. Inhale, press straight up. Woo! So good. Hold for breath in your plank, whichever version you did. And then we're going to spin to the side. Option here to lower the right knee down to the mat. We're going to spin onto the right side, coming to Vashisthasana, side plank. I've got my feet staggered today for my version, but feel free to drop the right knee down and support yourself. We've got 3 breaths, but I'd like you to open through the heart, and you can even let your left fingertips come a little bit behind, lifting through the chest. So good. One more breath. And then let's roll back to center, high plank. Get nice and strong. We'll take it to the other side. Roll onto the left side of the foot, onto the left hand. Right arm extends up. And then maybe even open through the chest. Feel free to drop the left knee down to the mat, okay? You can stack feet if you want to make this even stronger today. One more breath. So good. Come back to high plank. And then let's send hips high, down dog. 3 breaths in your dog. Now we're starting to feel the energy come up, right? Building in more strengthening. So good. Inhale, lift the right foot. We're going to bring it all the way through. between the hands, so get it up there however you need to get it up there. We're going to set up for our high lunge. So if you'd like your blocks, that might help just to give you a little height here. I like to kind of make my feet a little wider. Navel pulls in, look forward, and then press into the feet. Come on up. Hands to heart center to start. You can bend the back knee to start if you'd like, just to protect the low back. If that's not an issue for you, go ahead and straighten that back leg. And then let's bring the arms up overhead. Crescent lunge. If this doesn't work for you, it's too challenging, you can take warrior one or you can take a low lunge. We're going to add on a little bit of arms here. So bringing the arms out to the side, open through the chest. And then let the fingertips come straight out, open through the heart. Inhale. Exhale, draw the fingertips together, a little rounding through the spine. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale, arms open wide, open through the chest. Exhale, round. 1 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Let's release the arms back up. Open through the chest, so good. Exhale, straighten the front leg. I'm going to use my blocks for tiger stretch, or like this really kind of long pyramid with the back heel lifted. Blocks are tall height for me today. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Exhale, fold in, navel pulls in towards spine. Back heel is still lifted. If this isn't working for you and you need to step up for pyramid, go for it. Keep sending the right hip back, lengthening through the right leg. Maybe the blocks begin to lower as you hold. Another breath. So good. Let's gaze forward, bend through the right knee, bring your blocks forward, step back, downward facing dog. We're not going to do a vinyasa today. If you want to throw one in, you may. Now would be a good time. And we are going to do a little bit more strengthening today. So inhale, roll forward, high plank once again. And remember, you can always take plank from the knees as long as your bum's kind of in line with the rest of your torso and the navel's pulling in. You can also take forearm plank if you have wrist issues. 1 more breath. So good. Send your hips back up, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. We're going to bend the knee and come forward, bringing it all the way through, and you can kind of grab your left ankle, bring the left foot up. And let's grab our blocks once again. Getting a little high here in our position. You can heel toe the left foot over. I like to shorten my stance just a little. And we're going to set ourselves up for high crescent. So navel pulls in. Go ahead and lift yourself up if you need to bend that back knee a little bit. I have some right low back issues, so I tend to bend that knee. You just want to protect the low back. And then we'll let the arms float up to the sky. Maybe you straighten the back leg, maybe not. Feeling that lifting, the fingertips reach. Bring the arms out to cactus, open through the chest. And then we'll take those little arm movements like we did on the other side. Fingertips extend out to the sky, or out to the side, excuse me. And then exhale, round through the spine. Fingertips come together. Inhale, open the arms wide. And exhale, round. 1 more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Release the arms. Bring them back up to the sky. 1 more breath. So good. Legs are so strong. Exhale, hands to blocks. Let's straighten through your left leg. Setting up for tiger stretch. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward, and exhale, fold. Sort of this modified pyramid pose. I don't know if this is called tiger stretch. Someone called it that once, so it has lived in my memory as that. And maybe as you hold, the blocks begin to lower a little bit. Let's take another breath or two. Just coming back into ourselves. So balancing that lifted energy with some introspective postures. Bend through your left knee, crawl yourself forward. Come to high plank. And then down dog, hips to the sky. 3 breaths in your dog. So good. Inhale, lift the right leg. Let's roll that right hip open, bending through the right knee. Just having a nice stretch or twist, gazing under your right armpit. And then coming back through to center. Gaze forward, bring the right foot between your hands. Back heel grounds. We've got heel to heel alignment. Grab your block if you have it. We're setting up for side angle. I'm going to use my block today under my right hand. So right hand to block. Left hand is going to start at the hip and just open through the chest. Then extend the left arm up and over the ear. If this just isn't going to work for you, bring your right forearm to thigh and take an extended version this way. And your block can be at any height. So for this pose, for me, it's a little challenging. So I'm going to go taller here, and this seems to be way more accessible with the block then. If you don't need the block, you can bring fingertips down to the ground. One more breath. So good. And then let the left arm come down by your side. Look down, press into the right foot. Let's straighten both legs. And then bend through the front knee once again, warrior 2. Navel pulls in, really press into the back foot and the front foot. Nice and strong. Let's just take some pulses with our warrior 2. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale back in. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. One more. So good. Let's take that little bind behind the low back. Actually, let's do interlace behind the head this time. Elbows come wide. I'm changing my mind mid-posture. Lift the chest. So good, you guys. And now release the hands, straighten the front leg, send the hips back and lean forward. Lower your hand down to your shin or the block. Triangle pose, left fingertips come up towards the sky. And then option for a half bind, flipping your left thumb back, bend through the left elbow, open through the heart. So nice. Inhale, release your left arm up. And then let's come back to our runner's lunge. Step back, down dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. 3 breaths. So good. Send your hips back up to the sky. Inhale, left leg lifts, bend through the left knee, open through the hip. Deep side body stretch. And then come back to center. Step your left foot through. Grab your block. We're setting up for our side angle on the other side. So back foot grounds. Press up onto the left hand. And I like to start with my right hand on my waist and then extend the right arm up and over your ear. Noticing if your bottom hand is in a weird spot or you need to adjust, kind of make sure that shoulder's plugged back in. Another breath. So good. You can always support forearm to thigh. And then let's gaze down, bring your right arm down and slowly come on up. Release the arms to warrior 2. Take a moment to kind of adjust your stance here. Navel pulls in, left hip lifting slightly, arms extend out. We'll take those little pulses in our warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the front leg, let the arms come up. And exhale, bend back in. 2 more. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower. Nice and slow, like you're moving through water. Last one. Straighten the front leg, send your hips back, lean forward. Exhale, lower your left hand to your shin or the block. And then right hand's going to come straight up to the sky. Option for half bind, flipping your right thumb back and bend through the right elbow. You can let your hand come to the sacrum or even bring it around to that left hip. Only if that's comfortable. Gaze can be up if that's okay on the neck. If not, just bring it neutral. Sure the bottom shoulder's plugged in to the socket. One more breath. So good. Release the right arm up. Bring it over. Let's step back. Down dog. Notice how you're feeling. Inhale, plank, 3 breaths. Notice how you're slightly more internally quiet. And then let's lower onto the knees. Take a child's pose. Extend the arms forward in your child's, making this a little more active. Elbows are lifted. Press into your finger pads, gaze forward, and then lower the forehead down. Keep pressing into the fingers. Inhale, lift your gaze. Let's come back up towards tabletop. Coming up onto your knees. Bringing in some series of camel pose. I know we did these last week, but chest opening has just felt really nice. We'll do just one quick series, a variation of camel. Interlace the hands once again, or bring hands or fists to low back, sacrum if that doesn't work. Let's open through the chest, pulling the fingers away from each other slightly, or forearms if you're doing that version instead. Navel pulling in, and you're kind of rounding your back like it's coming over a giant beach ball. So good. One more breath. Excellent. Let's release that. Sit back on your heels for a moment. You can take tabletop as an alternate. And just notice how you're feeling. Notice the energy as it moves through the body. So good. Let the eyes blink open. We're going to come to standing at the top of your mat. We're just going to flush all of this out with a full sun salutation this time. So here's your option to vinyasa if you'd like. Inhale, let the arms float up. Little baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Let's step back to high plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, either knees, chest, and chin, or lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Open through the chest. And then exhale, send it back. Final down dog of class. 3 breaths. Getting a little quieter now in the mind. Lower down to your knees. Come up to a seat. Just taking this nice, simple, cross-legged position. Just feel that energy as it moves through you. Maybe the eyes close. Like the eyes open. Let's come down to our back. We'll finish off our class with some rounds of bridge and a twist. So sending your feet either hip distance or wider. Roll the shoulder blades under to start. Just for a moment, let the palms flip up. Then take the next breath to sort of arch the low back. Just feel your hip points pull forward. And exhale, press the low back into the mat. Actually, let's do that one more time. It's like a little cat-cow here. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. And then coming back to center, we're going to add on to that movement, adding the arms, coming to our dynamic bridge. So inhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Little arch in the low back. Exhale, press the low back. As you inhale, lift the hips, let the arms float up, extending them overhead. Exhale, lower everything back down. Keeping the breath even, the movement's even. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale, press the low back. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms, come up overhead. Exhale, lower all the way down. We're going to add on some pelvic floor moves with that. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale, press the low back. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms all the way up. Pause at the top. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Keep that squeeze as you lower on the exhale. Arms and hips lower. Keep squeezing the pelvic floor. And then release. Let's take that again 2 more times. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale, press the low back. Inhale, lift hips and arms all the way up. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Exhale, lower down. Keep squeezing. And release. Last round with your breath. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, press the low back. Inhale, lift everything up. Squeeze your pelvic floor at the top. Hold. And then exhale, lower down. Keep squeezing. So good. And release. Beautiful. Hug the knees to the chest. A little rock side to side. Bring the arms to cactus and send both knees over to your left. You can bring your left hand to your right leg if you like. Gaze can even come over to the right shoulder. We didn't get into the hips too much today, so if you want to deepen this, this is nice for the outer hip, the outer glute. You can always hook that left ankle on top of the right knee. Let your gaze come back to center, knees come back to center. Send both knees to the other side. I like to bring my right hand to my left thigh. Gaze over your left shoulder. Gaze comes back to center, knees come back to center. Give them a squeeze in. A little bit of hip work here. Let's come to happy baby to finish out before meditation. You can grab for the outer feet. You can grab for the ankles or the big toes. Wherever you're at, let your sacrum come down to the ground, down to the mat. So you might grab ankles today. Feet flex towards the sky. Even a little rock might feel great right now. And then we are going to set up for a meditation. If you are taking your meditation in Shavasana, go ahead, extend the legs out. Just let yourself feel supported. If you would rather join me in a seat for meditation, you may. And just begin to let go of any final bits of tension. So if you need to take some movements to feel complete in your practice, by all means do that. No matter what position you're in, let yourself feel supported by the ground. Feeling the earth beneath you, noticing where your body contacts the earth. We're going to do a very simple meditation with my kind of daily protection practice today. Just taking the next few breaths to tell your body to relax from the crown of your head, through the face, the jaw, your tongue. Let the tongue release. Through the neck, the upper back and shoulders, the upper chest, the arms, hands and fingers. Tell them to relax. The middle of your chest, mid-back, solar plexus, low belly, low back. Tell them to relax. The sacrum melts onto the floor, and your low belly releases as you breathe, allowing the abdomen to fully expand with the breath and contract with the breath. Not forcing it, but just noticing it. The hips relax, the pelvis releases. Tell your legs, your knees, your ankles and feet and toes to relax. And then from your root, envision a cord extending down into the earth. This cord is like roots. And I sometimes envision from my root down my legs and feet into the earth. So whatever speaks to you. And notice what color this root is. Maybe it's a bright gold. Maybe it's a different color for you. Maybe it's a deep red. Just allow this root or this cord to grow and deepen into the earth. And as it deepens into the earth, it branches out. And it anchors you deep, 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 all the way to the core of the earth. And as your roots touch the core of the earth, you feel this instant energy, this earth energy traveling up the cord to the soles of your feet, up into your legs, and all the way up to your root chakra. And here you're anchored and stabilized, and you feel grounded. You have the earth energy connecting you. Then you look up and you see this beautiful platinum white light. Maybe it's sparkling. It's coming from the stars, entering through your crown, coming into the third eye. In the throat, it's clearing and cleansing. Down into your heart. And the earth energy begins to move up to your sacrum and your solar plexus. And then it meets that starlight energy in your heart center, and it begins to swirl. And it begins to expand outwards. The earth energy and starlight energy are mixing in your heart, and you begin to feel that space grow. And expand, clearing and cleansing your entire auric field. You begin to feel energy now in your solar plexus, just above your navel center. This is your personal power energy. This is your space of not just empowerment, but your sun. This is your personal sun. So I like to envision this as this bright yellow. And it begins to expand down into your lower body, into your legs and feet. And it expands up through the upper chakras, through the heart, the throat, the arms, the fingers, the third eye, the crown. And as it expands, it's mixing with this earth energy and the star energy. You have all these beautiful energies within you and around you. And they expand out to your entire auric field now, cleansing and clearing away any last bits of energy that doesn't belong to you. And it's calling back in your own energy. And you set the intention now to only allow what is here for your highest and greatest good to enter this energetic field. Call in your angels, your guides, your spirit team, your animal totems to be with you today, asking for their guidance and to keep moving you in the direction of your highest good. You can even take a moment to call in your angels of protection or whatever speaks to you. So this is just the language I use, but if something else is calling to you, if you have a stronger connection, or maybe it's just your higher self, spiritual energy, source energy, ancestors, whatever connections you feel are calling to you today, call them in and ask them to keep guiding you. Ask them for help today. Ask them for protection. And once again, you notice your earth energy. You're sending it down through those cords in your feet to feel reconnected to the ground. Beginning to deepen your breath now. Making small movements, wiggling fingers and toes. Gradually making larger movements, moving wrists and ankles. Maybe it feels good to take a nice full body stretch. Extending the arms to the sky, pointing through the toes, and then hugging your knees into your chest as you're ready. If you're in Shavasana, bend through the knees and come onto one side. And I'd like everyone to pause where they're at to set your intention for the rest of your day. Perhaps that's one of joy, of fun. And I send that as an invitation today to keep uplifting your spirit as you move throughout your day. Asking for help and guidance from your spirit guides. Asking for love and fun and joy, and keep bringing that in, and it makes all the difference. And pressing yourself up to a seat if you're not there yet. We'll close our practice together with the sound of Om. First, sending yourself some love and gratitude. Give yourself a smile. Showing up for you today, sending our love and gratitude to all of those practicing around the world together, sending our love and gratitude to all beings. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and live freely. Thank you so much for your presence and your practice. And I forgot the Om, so let's close with an Om. Nice deep breath in. Om. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you came late, I will be posting this replay on YouTube. Probably not till Monday, but sometimes I get it in. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, lovely day. I'll come in and check the comments. If you do feel so inclined to donate, those are always very much appreciated. You can follow me on Insight Timer as well. Go to my link tree, into my, it's in my bio on Insight Timer, and you can find all the things I have there, my podcast, my donation buttons, my website, all the things, YouTube channel, all the things. So I hope you all have a wonderful, lovely day. Thank you for joining.